Another day in this paradise we call Australia. You know, we're so lucky to live here. We've got such beautiful gardens growing in such an incredible environment. Today on The Garden Gurus, we've got some terrific stories for you. I'm Trevor Cochrane. I can't wait to share them. Here's what's coming up on today's show. I'll share my secret to get the sweetest tasting fruit. All the goodness is in the fruit because it was in the soil. And we show you how to get the best out of your veggie garden naturally. This is a brilliant way to go. It's safe on beneficial insects and bees.
Digging around. I got my spade, I got my hoe, I got my rake, and I'm ready to go.
I remember introducing viewers to Power Gear Secateurs a few years back, and at the time I didn't think that there'd be any way they would be able to improve on them. Fiskars is a 369-year-old Finnish company that made its name first with scissors and then later became a world leader in developing new technology for secateurs. But guess what? They have. This is the Power Gear 2, and it's something really special. Clean cuts when pruning is vitally important to a plant's health. Crushed and ripped stems invite disease and dieback into plants. If you have larger stems, secateurs can also cause strain on your hand. So Power Gear introduced a number of innovations that made it so much easier to cut. But Power Gear 2 has gone to new lengths to make pruning so much easier. The contoured handle makes grip easier and more comfortable. The rolling action is brilliant for people with limited movement or arthritis, as it rolls with the movement of the cut, reducing strain. And then there's the blade. For a start, it's hardened steel, vitally important for a clean cut. Cheap secateurs will blunt quickly as the steel bends and misshapes, but not with Power Gear 2. It stays sharp and cuts like a knife through butter. Now, one of the great things with this particular bypass pruner is the Ultra Blade coating. Now, this is a special technology coated over these hardened steel blades. It protects the blades, it keeps them sharper longer, it stops them from gumming up, which is a significant problem with secateurs, so they don't get very dirty. And should you do this, not that you would do it, but if you left them out in the rain and they got wet, it would protect them from rusting, which is very important. These secateurs have 3/4-inch cutting capacity, and the gears allow you to generate 3 times more power each time you cut a stem. This means that Power Gear 2 doesn't lose momentum as you hit the hardwood in the centre of the stem. It simply powers through the cut without crushing, bruising or ripping tissue. A good pair of secateurs are irreplaceable, and these are sensational. Even better, they come with a lifetime warranty, and you'll find them exclusively in Bunnings Warehouse stores. Now's the time to be getting out and pruning your garden. Isn't it time you do it with the very best pair of secateurs you can get your hands on? Getting the best out of your citrus is something we should all be focused on right now. It doesn't matter where you are, it's highly likely that your trees have fruit on, and you can do something at the moment that'll make the world of difference to the quality of the produce you pick and the health of your tree. One of the questions I get asked all the time is, why are my oranges a little bit on the sour side, not as sweet as I thought they could be? And a lot of that gets down to the soil. If the soil's a bit sour, the same thing's going to happen to your fruit. But if you boost it and you sweeten it with the right nutrients and the right microbes in the soil, that fruit, if it's applied now, will be the sweetest, juiciest fruit you've ever had. So the trick is to make sure that you do something at this stage. There are definitely specialist citrus and fruit tree plant foods that are great, but the care of our trees has recently gone to a whole new level with this one. Now, one of the great benefits of Troforte citrus and fruit fertiliser is the complexity of the nutrients that it supplies the plant. There are over 60 beneficial micro and macronutrients spread around the soil. They're taken up through the roots into this giant, robust tree, and then all that goodness ends up in the fruit. If those nutrients are in the fruit, we're getting it. So when we make lemon juice from these huge lemons, one of the benefits is we don't need to take vitamin C tablets, for example, or magnesium tablets, 2 things that are commonly lacking in our diets, because all the goodness is in the fruit because it was in the soil. This isn't just a plant food though, it's actually a soil food. It's been boosted with at least 24 beneficial microbes that are encapsulated around the fertiliser prills, and they activate when they come in contact with moisture. They then slowly convert the minerals to plant food. Beneficial microbes can do all sorts of positive things for the soil, and their action is slow, providing a 4 to 6 month feeding activity in your garden soils. Having lots of organic matter will only further improve the soil's quality too, so make sure you've enriched the soil around the base of your trees. Because this plant food feeds for so long, it delivers something really important: support for the plant once the fruit has been picked. Now, this boosts growth and supports the next round of flowering, which isn't that long after the harvest for most citrus varieties. Now, one of the other benefits, of course, is when your tree's growing stronger, it's able to carry more fruit. Look at this crop. This is an unusual citrus. It's called the chinotto. And chinotto is a beautiful drink. It's a little bit of maybe a bitter kind of citrus. But when it's fed like this, a small tree like this is able to carry quite literally 50, 60, 70 fruit, which means we're going to get our first chinotto juice this season, which is pretty cool. One of the other benefits, of course, is that the trees are stronger and they're able to fight off pests and diseases, which is another great reason why you should be thinking about feeding your citrus right now.
Have a look at this nasty business over here. It's two-spotted mite damage, quite common on the viburnums, and you do tend to see these guys around after long dry periods. Now, there are all sorts of products on the shelves that will deal with this, but you're much better off keeping your plants healthy and using preventative measures like natural oils and soaps to stop the problem or prevent the problem before it even starts. You can also remove them by hand. But just blanket spraying with a pesticide can also kill the good bugs too, and we don't want that.
I've got a young family, so I think a lot about the types of products that I use in the garden. And for me, it just makes sense to work with nature and garden the organic way. I love that when I grow my own food, I know exactly what journey those plants have taken, from seed or seedling right through to my dinner plate. And there's nothing fresher than homegrown, hand-picked produce, especially when you know that you've grown the plants organically. When I'm looking for an organic fertilizer, I always look for a complete food like this. So one that contains all the nutrients that plants need, including organic nitrogen for healthy growth, organic phosphorus for strong roots, and organic potassium to improve the quality of flowers and fruit. Yates Nature's Way palletized organic plant food is packed full of goodness and contains rich organic nutrients from composted manure, blood and bone, fish meal and seaweed. And you can use it on everything in the garden, including native plants. These easy to scatter pellets gently feed your plants, help to strengthen roots and improve the soil, and they can work for up to 6 to 8 weeks. Now, you could dig them through the soil before planting, but then when you reapply them, just simply mix them into the topsoil with a rake. It also comes in a fast-acting hose-on formulation for an easy feed. Simply click it onto the hose and use it to gently feed every corner of the garden and lawn. It contains all the essential organic nutrients that your garden needs, plus seaweed to boost roots. Apply it every 1 to 3 weeks or more often during flowering and fruiting. So if you're looking to garden the organic way, then Yates Nature's Way organic plant food is the perfect choice for your garden. Now, if you take a look at the bottle, this symbol here is really important because it shows that it's an Australian organic registered garden product. And remember that you can use this product year-round on all plants in your garden to promote healthy growth, beautiful flowers, and larger, more abundant fruit and veggies. So if you've got any more gardening questions or you just want to know more about this product, then the Yates team are online 7 days a week to answer all your gardening questions.
This year at the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show, I'm sharing the secrets to gardening success. This has to be one of the single biggest cheats I can give you that'll help you get the best results out of your plants. Now, the first thing you need to know is plants are just like us. They need small amounts of nutrients on a regular basis, in fact daily, and they need a diet that's comprehensive in micro and macronutrients as well. Now, if you've got that, you're going to get the very best performance when it comes to flowers and fruit. And this really applies to all sorts of plants, but this is where the cheat really comes into play. If you spray it over the foliage and it's absorbed through the foliage, it acts so much more efficiently. Now, it's particularly effective for those very high energy plants like flowers, like roses, or fruiting plants as well. Sea salt foliar is a specially developed formulation that has neutralised odour. It's pre-mixed at exactly the right levels so the plants won't burn or set back. And it comes in a trigger pack, so you can shake it and then spray it over the foliage and the plant starts feeding straight away. If you're growing fruit, this means bigger, juicier, tastier produce. And if you want the best flowers, well, you'll get this incredible glow. Even better than that, when you're applying nutrients this way, the plant is stronger and healthier and able to fight off pests and diseases so much better. And because there's sea soil in this, it means it tolerates environmental extremes like drought so much better than it normally would.
I've just recently renovated this garden bed, added a few more cycads and one of my favourite ground covers, this one here, Viola hederaceae, the native violet. It's a beautiful plant that'll form a carpet right throughout this area, and it gets these lovely white and mauve flowers all year round. Now, it's not what you'd call a drought-tolerant plant. It does like reliable moisture, but that's okay. We've got it on the drip irrigation and also a beautiful layer of this organic mulch. Now, we've planted in autumn, beautiful time to plant. It'll settle in over winter, and then come spring, whooshka, it'll take off and cover this beautifully.
This time of the year has to be one of the very best times of the year to get out and give your garden a prune. And I've got a lot of pruning to do in my garden. There's a lot of plants that put a huge amount of growth on, including these beautiful evergreen magnolias. This is the K. parasform, and to get them into shape, I need a good pair of secateurs. All jobs require the best quality tools possible. Getting quality tools doesn't mean paying a fortune either. The right quality tool for the right job is affordable if you know what to look for. Now, I'm going to need a few tools for this job, and I've chosen these fantastic loppers and also these roll-handled secateurs. Now, they are really, really tough, heavy-duty tools, and they can do the job day in, day out. Both of them have specially ergonomically developed handles with soft-touch rubber that just makes the workload so much easier. What's taken this range of superior quality garden tools to a new level is something Fiskars call Ultra Blade Coating, which bonds to the blade to give an edge that stays sharp 5 times longer than non-treated blades, eliminating friction for a more efficient, smooth cutting motion. It's such a nice, clean cut. You can very quickly get that shape in, and you really do end up with what is quite a hedge-like appearance. These loppers cut through solid branches like butter, and Fiskars have a 25-year guarantee on them. Now, the good thing about these blades is, well, it doesn't matter whether you're hedge trimming or whether you're lopping or even using the secateurs, they give such a clean cut. Now, this is really important because if your secateurs are a little old and you're crushing stems as you go and you cut through, what happens is you end up opening the plant up to disease, which is a significant problem if you've got a prized specimen like this. You know, every single cut that I've made on this tree is going to force out at least 2, possibly 4 new branches, and they're all going to produce beautiful flower buds like that in a very short period of time. And these flowers are exquisitely perfumed, so the benefit to the whole garden, and particularly at night, is amazing. If you're wondering where you can get your hands on the Fiskars new generation Power Gear 2 loppers, pruners, and head shears with this Ultra Blade technology, you're going to find them in your local Bunnings Warehouse store. There's no excuse now not to get pruning. A couple of weeks ago, I introduced you to the news that there was a family of chemicals had been banned from garden centres in Australia. They're called neonicotinoids. Now, you might not be concerned about this, but it's really important for the health of our bee populations in Australia. You see, in America, in the last 10 years since this particular chemical family arrived, over 50% of their pollinating bees have disappeared. And you might be thinking, well, what's the big deal with that? Well, 1 in 3 mouthfuls of food that we consume is a result of pollination of honeybees. Without them, 1/3 of the world's population is not going to be able to get their hands on good quality food. So the reality is those pesticides help a lot of us to control some pretty irritating bugs. The good news is there are natural options available, and this is what you should be looking out for. It's safe on bees, safe on humans, has 1 day withholding period before consuming crops, and controls most chewing, sucking, and darn right annoying pests as well. The spray is called Beta Bug, and it's been around for a while for those of us who know how it works. It's made completely of natural ingredients, including chili, garlic, and pyrethrum, a natural insecticide from African daisies. The combination of these ingredients controls all sorts of chewing and sucking insects. So things like caterpillars, but also those suckers like aphids and thrips are all controlled by a spray over the foliage. And here's the thing, the combination does some instant solution stuff for you, controls them instantly, but also it does some preventative stuff, so it repels insects away as well. So apply it on a dry day and you're not going to see bugs for a long time. As far as pets go, if you apply late in the day and bring the animals inside for the night, the next day the garden's going to be fine for them. The chili in this mixture can upset their delicate nose and eye membrane, so give the mixture a few hours to dry. Another tip, this is a contact spray, so don't spray before rain or before sprinklers run. The longer it remains on the foliage, the longer pests will stay away. If it does rain, wait until things are dry and maybe a few days of dry weather are ahead. Then give the plants another spray over the foliage. And one more thing, a lot of people ask me about ant control this time of the year, and I've got to tell you, this is a fantastic way to repel them out of the house. As rain comes, they will want to move indoors. If you see an ant trail, just go and spray along the line. And this also works for some of the other bugs that come inside, things like earwigs, slaters, and even cockchafers. Best of all, it's safe on beneficial insects and bees. As we move into the winter months in the southern parts of the country, the north comes to life. Now, it's been getting a lot of rain up there this year, and these plants come into their own. These are known as the mulla mulla, and they are absolutely beautiful, and you'll see just seas of them all over the place as you head further north of Western Australia and the Northern Territory into the centre of the country as well. Our celebrity gardener today is a legend of Australian television. His name is synonymous with game shows, so Wheel of Fortune and Catchphrase were the two big ones. Today, he's still on Channel 9, The Pulse, and also Today Extra, and he still does radio on 6IX in Western Australia as well. What was surprising was, well, I know he's a busy guy, but the garden he chose to show us is located here, at Crown Perth. Baby John Burgess, it's good to catch up with you, mate, again.
Always nice.
Hey, listen, when you told me meet you here,
Yeah.
I kind of thought, you know, garden, didn't realise that you were going to be taking me to somebody else's garden.
Yeah, well, I sort of live in the sky,
Right.
so I don't have a garden,
Yeah.
but I overlook this one, so I thought, why not claim it as mine?
Absolutely, it makes a huge amount of sense.
And this living wall here,
Did you
the
do that?
tiling and everything.
Oh, you
and
did the whole lot?
The watering is, I mean, it's very difficult. Yeah, it's very difficult. My arms aren't as long as they used to be.
It is a wonderful place and great use of indoor plants. It really does soften and bring it to life, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, they've, you know, I mean, no expense been spared here at Crown Towers. As much as I enjoy being here,
Yeah.
I've got even a better spot for us. If you'd like to join me for maybe a convivial.
Sounds very good to
See
me.
how I spoiled you? It's unbelievable.
I'll tell you.
Is this good or what?
This is fantastic. This is really a beautiful environment to enjoy. And they're all over this complex too, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, Virgo and I do a radio segment every weekend.
You well know my gardening expertise is a zero.
One of the things that I have learned from that, of course, is that you actually had a bit of success with African violets.
You had a lot of success with African violets. A lot of people saying, oh, we can't grow those, but we did. Don't ask me how, because, you know, I'm known as the godfather of the nursery because I kill more plants than I survive. We're into orchids now, by the way.
Right. So, Virgo, where did the baby John come from?
Started way back. I started in radio before you were born in 1965, and I was the youngest at the radio station, and that's where it came from. Then along came Wheel of Fortune in 80, it wasn't until 84, but I managed to do some form of television through all those years, and that helped me with my radio show. But radio's always been my bread and butter. Television's just been the icing on the cake, really.
And it's great to see that your TV career has continued. You're still working with 9 today, and in the meantime, you're popping up at places like Crown, hosting events. You're still doing all of that as well.
Yeah, this place is fantastic, Crown Perth, and the gardens are just beautiful.
Thanks so much for coming along and showing us your backyard. Here's cheers, my
Good,
friend.
Trev? Yeah.
Cheers.
So it's nice.
Well, that's it for this week's show. I hope you enjoyed it. How beautiful is this garden? And your garden can be beautiful too if you just get the right advice. Now, if you want any more advice or anything from today's show, simply check out our website. There's videos, fact sheets, all sorts of reference information you can use. And if you've got a specific question, become a friend on Facebook. We do answer your questions. I'm Trevor Cochrane. We'll see you next week for another episode of The Garden Gurus.